Hey everyone, welcome back to Chaz MTG, where we talk about all things magic related. Today, we're going to talk about ways to save mana and win with alternate win cons with the bank itself, Kruphix, God of Horizons. Now before we start, if you do like this deck tag, do consider giving it a share, and or like, or subscribe for more deck tags in the future. Now back to the deck tag. Kruphix, God of Horizons is a 3 of anything, 1 green, 1 blue, 4/7, legendary enchantment card. It has indestructible, and as long as your devotion to green and blue is less than 7, Kruphix isn't a creature. You have no maximum hand size, and if unused mana would empty from your mana pool, that mana becomes colorless instead. This ability lets you store colorless mana with Kruphix like a bank, saving that mana and using it to cash out and cast huge spells. I've actually made a video on Kruphix before, which you can check out by clicking the link in the top right corner of this video, but the sound quality isn't that good, which is why I'm remaking this video. Now Kruphix's indestructibility and the fact that he's mostly an enchantment makes him a very difficult target to remove. You want to play him as a really hard control commander that plays very passively until you have enough mana to swarm the board. With Kruphix, you want to ram hard and have repeated sources of mana so you can continuously store mana in the bank. So mana dogs are especially good with Kruphix, like Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, and even Boreal Druid, as they can help you to store mana. There's also better mana dogs that fit super well in Kruphix, and they are Weaver of Currents, Gaia Engineer, and Eryximeth's Slumbering Isle. Let's take a look at Eryximeth's for a bit. A 2 of anything, 1 green and 1 blue, 12/12 creature that taps for green and blue is so good in Kruphix. You use him to store mana at first, but after his slumber counters are all removed, he's a solid 12/12 beater that your opponents have to deal with. So while Eryximeth is wreaking havoc on the field, you can continue with the storing mana game plan. Wilderness Reclamation can untap your lands at your end step, so you can float mana before it triggers, and Seedborn Muse enables you to store mana on each of your opponent's turn too. I've talked about the different sources of RAM in my Omnath Locus of Rage video, link in the top right, so you can check it out there. I want to bring out these specific sources of RAM that's great in Kruphix though. Coiling Oracle lets you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a land, you can put it onto the battlefield. If not, you put it in your hand. This incidental ramp is pretty decent since you get to draw even if you don't hit a land. Having it on a 1/1 body is also great if you need an early blocker. Growth Spiral and Urban Evolution lets you draw before you play an additional land per turn, and Explore does pretty much the same thing but in reverse. One of the best enchantments I want to highlight in Kruphix that I found to be really useful is Frontier Siege. Always choose Khans. You get 2 free green mana on each of your main phases, netting you 4 green mana a turn for you to store. This card will just be a repeated source of mana for you to store in the bank each turn. Never leave a Kruphix deck without it. Other than RAM, card draw is a definite priority for Kruphix. These next few cards are a bit group huggy, but they do the job. Dictate of Kruphix, Howling Mine, and Rites of Flourishing lets you and your opponents draw multiple cards a turn, with Rites providing each player with additional land drops. In a more casual game, people will be less likely to target you due to the advantages that you're providing. Alternatively, you can always shut it off with Narset. Bounty of Luxa is also pretty cool, as it can give you either a card or mana depending on whether it has a flood counter, which you can use it to store in the bank. Now my favorite deck building trait that I have is to include secondary commanders to help with the game plan. So having Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter to trigger off our spells is a good way to get incremental advantages, and Tatiova, Benthic Druid, can help us draw cards with every land that we play. There's some good counters that Kruphix can use come in the form of creatures. Mystic Snake and Field Mystic can flash in to counter your opponent's spells, while Plasm Capture is the budget kind of mana drain that also helps with the mana game plan. Now we've been saving all this mana and storing in the bank, it's time to cash it in for something big. Now I usually don't use cards that are currently popular in Standard, but I have to admit, Hydroid Crisis is pretty perfect for a Kruphix deck. A big body that lets you sink your mana into it and gets you card advantage. Yes please. The other big payoff card that I love to use is Hydra Broodmaster. When this Hydra becomes monstrous, you can create a swarm of huge Hydra tokens to swing with. It's one of the best mana sinks a Kruphix deck can have, and you can do it on your opponent's end step so that when it comes back to you, you're ready to swing with a lot of Hydras. Of course, if you have them, the Eldrazi Titans will always be a good payoff to ramp into. Please make sure your playgroup is cool with Annihilator before playing them. Now we have come to how you actually win the game, and here's some examples of my favorite alternate win cons in Kruphix. The one way I love to always try to win is with Biovisionary. Biovisionary reads at the beginning of the end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Biovisionary, you win the game. Now this is EDH, how do you get 4 copies of this card? The answer is with Rite of Replication. Cast Rite of Replication on your Biovisionary to create 5 additional token copies of it, then end the turn and win. I've always wanted to pull this off in a game, and I've only came close to it once. If your opponents know what's up, they always try to stop you, but if you can sneak in win like this, it's so satisfying. Another alternate win con is with Helix Pinnacle, a 1 mana enchantment with Shroud, and you can pay X to put X tower counters on it. If you have 100 or more tower counters on it at the beginning of your upkeep, you win the game. Due to it having Shroud, it's difficult to interact with, and it gives your opponents an actual ticking clock to prevent you from winning. Really fun. Well, there you have it folks, how to save mana and win with alternate win cons with the bank, Kruphix, God of Horizons. This deck makes you play a bit differently than the usual Commander games, but it's a real fun one when your opponents realize what you're trying to do. Now this has been Chaz MTG, and if you like this deck tech, do consider giving it a share and or a like or subscribing for more content in the future. Now remember, keep on playing Magic.